Welcome to this video on contextualizing and conceptualizing the research. We will be looking at the differences between these two processes and why they are both important in a research project. Before conducting any research, it is necessary to undertake both the contextualization and conceptualization of the research. Contextualizing and conceptualizing the research are two crucial steps in the research process, particularly for an academic research project. While they are related, they are distinct processes that serve different purposes. Let's start by knowing what each term means. The initial step in contextualizing the research is to situate the research within its broader social, political, and cultural context. It involves identifying relevant stakeholders and understanding their perspectives and concerns regarding the research topic. Typically, we start the contextualization process by considering possible influences from larger contexts in which our research is embedded. And then we narrow down the context of the research itself by considering factors that have shaped the research problem. Next, we looked at the researcher context. Here, we consider the researcher's background, prior research skills and experience, relationship with peers and supervisors, and more. Also included is the context of participants and other data sources, followed by being mindful of the potential impact on different groups of people, for example, examiner or reader, sponsor, or user context. On the other hand, conceptualizing the research involves developing clear and comprehensive positioning of the research problem, followed by formulating research questions, leading to the developing of hypotheses. It also involves identifying key concepts, variables, and theories relevant to the research project, developing a theoretical framework and the research design to guide the conduct of the research. Now, why is it important to conceptualize the research? Contextualizing research requires you to consider past related studies and relevant factors that have shaped the research problem, and to be mindful of the potential impact of your research on various stakeholders. Without considering the broader context, the study can be limited in its relevance and applicability and may not adequately address the concerns of relevant stakeholders. Here is an illustration of contextualizing the research. The research may be contextualized by grouping our assumptions into 5 main categories. Begin by considering possible influences from larger contextual considerations like ethics, stakeholders, power relationships, societal and environmental needs, and others that may direct your research interests. The research context is about your assumptions that would make your research doable. Researcher context encompasses making choices between what you will address or will not address in your research. For example, research gaps, research objectives, theoretical frames, hypotheses, or other aspects of your research design. Your consideration for participants and other data sources is on who will be providing you with the data and how it will be collected and analyzed. Also, what impacts and contributions will your research be making to the research sponsor, reader or examiner, or other users? Contextualizing and positioning your research is not a linear process. It emerges as a consequence of dynamic changes arising from the overlapping regions of confluence. Let's pick one aspect of contextualizing a research project, which is possible influences from the larger context by considering broader social, cultural, and political perspectives. Let's say the research topic is use of social media and social interaction among adolescents. Here, you would need to consider the ways in which social media use and social interaction may vary across several cultures and communities, and the potential impact of your research on different groups of people. For example, you may need to consider the perspectives of parents, teachers, and policymakers regarding the use of technology among adolescents and the potential risks and benefits of social media use for young people. The goal of conceptualizing research is to establish a theoretical foundation for the research project and to ensure that the research questions are well defined and aligned with the existing body of knowledge. Conceptualizing research is an important process because it establishes clear and comprehensive understanding of the research problem and formulates research questions and hypotheses. It justifies the development of a theoretical framework by identifying key concepts, variables, and theories that are relevant to the research project and guides the conduct of the research. If conceptualizing research is omitted, the research can lack focus and direction, which can lead to inconclusive or misleading results. Without a clear and well-defined research question, the study may not be aligned with the existing body of knowledge, and the research outcome may not be reliable or valid. In addition, the study may lack coherence and fail to make a significant contribution to the field of study. Moreover, without a theoretical framework to guide the study, you may have difficulty interpreting the results and drawing conclusions. Here is an illustration of the process of conceptualizing the research. Assuming you are interested in conducting a research on the impact of technology on social interaction among adolescents. To conceptualize the research, you may take the following process. The first step in conceptualizing the research is to identify the research problem. In this case, the research problem is the impact of technology on social interaction among adolescents. The next step is to conduct a thorough review of the existing literature related to the research problem. This helps to identify key concepts, theories, and variables that are relevant to the research project. Based on the literature review, you may now develop research questions that clearly and concisely captures the research problem. For example, what is the impact of technology on social interaction among adolescents? Key concepts and variables that are relevant to the research project can now be identified. For example, key concepts might include technology use, social interaction, and adolescence development. Variables may include age, gender, socio-economic status, and technology use habits. Based on the literature review and identified variables, develop a theoretical framework that outlines the relationships between variables and explains the mechanism by which technology impacts social interaction among adolescents. This leads to the formulating of testable hypotheses that are based on the research questions. For example, adolescents who spend more time using technology will have less face-to-face social interaction than those who spend less time using technology. Next is to determine the research methods that will be used to collect and analyze data, such as surveys, interviews, or experiments. Followed by designing data collection instruments such as questionnaires or interview guides that are aligned with the research questions, theoretical framework, and hypothesis. Then, pilot test the data collection instruments with a small sample to identify any issues with clarity, comprehensiveness, or reliability. Data can now be collected using the finalized data collection instrument and analyze the data using appropriate statistical techniques. Discuss findings from data analysis in the context of the research questions, hypothesis, theoretical framework, and lastly, communicate the research outcomes by presenting it in conferences or publishing it in reputable academic journals. By following these processes, you can then establish a clear and comprehensive understanding of the research problem and develop a research study that is focused, coherent, and aligned with the existing body of knowledge. Thank you for watching this video on the differences between contextualizing and conceptualizing the research. If you find this video helpful, please share and subscribe so that more of similar videos can be created.